So the other special right triangle that we're going to talk about is the 30, 60, 90 triangle. So obviously it has a 90-degree angle. And then its other two are a 30 and a 60-degree angle. Do you recall how this one worked?
X, 2x.
Yes. One side is x, and then one side is twice that size. But do you remember which one's which?
30 is x.
Yeah, so here's something that you need to remember from geometry. Across from the smallest angle in a triangle is the smallest side. And across from the biggest angle is the biggest side. So that's why across from the 90-degree angle is always the hypotenuse. Because that's going to be the biggest angle in your triangle, and that's always going to be the biggest side. So across from the smallest angle, which would be the 30, is going to be your shortest side. That shortest side we call x. And then the hypotenuse of a 30, 60, 90 triangle will always be twice the length of that leg. So then this is the middle side, if you will, right? It's not the shortest, it's not the longest, it's the one in the middle. It's across from the 60. Does anybody remember what the deal is with that one?
Oh, it's the square root of 4x squared.
Square root of what?
One-third is part of it.
There is a 3. You take the short side and you multiply it by the square root of 3. Yeah. Short side times the square root of 3. Okay? So, it's actually very common that kids mix these two up. So here was our 45, 45, 90. Let me see if I can get them both on the screen at the same time. So it's very common that they mess up and they put the root 3 there and the root 2 there. So here's my way to help you remember. This one has two sides the same, so the 2 goes with that one. This one has all 3 sides are different, so that one has the root 3 in it. Okay? So, short side is x. The hypotenuse is always twice that size. And then the middle side is whatever the short side is times root 3. Okay? So let's try some basic examples before we turn into anything too tricky. So again, you're always going to have to know that it's a 30, 60, 90. So the only way for me to let you know that it is that, because this one's not isosceles, right? So I can't just mark the sides. I'm going to have to tell you at least one of the angles. So if I tell you that one's 30, and let's just let's start off easy. If I tell you this side is 6, then you know the hypotenuse must be 12, and then this back side's going to be 6 root 3. Make sense? Okay, let me give you a different piece. What if I gave you, maybe the hypotenuse is, I don't know, 8. What would the short side be? 4, and then the back side would be 4 root 3. Okay. What if I started off by giving you that middle side? Let's say it was, I don't know, 9 root 3. Oh, what's the short side? Fooled you. You don't know what's a 30, 60, 90 yet. Okay, now it is. So now, yes, the short side would be 9 and the hypotenuse would be 18. Right. Okay. Vestavia, this seems pretty simple. It is right now because I'm giving you nice numbers. Once you get bad numbers, you got to do a little bit of math. But the concept is always the same. This side, the short side, is always half the hypotenuse. Or the other way around, the hypotenuse is always twice as big as the short side. Whether they're good numbers or bad numbers, it doesn't matter. That times 2 will get you that. That divided by 2 will get you that. Always. If it's a 30, 60, 90. And then the middle side is always the short side times root 3. It just might be that the short side isn't such a nice number. But whatever it is, I'm going to multiply by root 3, and that will get me that side. And then how do I go this way? If I'm given this, how would I get to this number? But what's the math you're doing? You're dividing by root 3. So, because these are nice numbers, it's easy. But in this next example, maybe the numbers aren't going to be not quite so nice. Let's start with one that's like, okay, I'll do this. What if your hypotenuse is 7? Right, so your short side is going to be 7/2, right? Because it's always half the hypotenuse. And then this back side would be 7 root 3 over 2. All right, that wasn't so bad. Let's step it up. What if I told you this side was 8? And you have to find the other two. Huh? Right. So you have to take that number and divide it by root 3 to get the short side. Yes, 8 root 3 over 3 is correct. So then this one is going to be twice that. 16 root 3 over 3. Yeah? Follow? Okay, let's try one more interesting combo. What if,
About 5 root 15 over 2 is your big side, or medium side.
5 root what?
5 root 15 over 2 is your medium side.
Okay.
And you divide by root 3.
But lucky for you, when you divide that by root 3, it actually comes out kind of nice.
Just 5 over 2. No.
Oh, well, first of all, we can't do anything until I do this.
Even divide, how do you set up the division? When you divide that by 3, how does it look?
So, okay. So you would have 5 root 15 over 2, and then instead of dividing by root 3, isn't that the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal? So you might do that. And now you can reduce these two with each other, because they're both in a radical. Yeah, so you end up with 5 root 5 over 2. So, if the short side is 5 root 5 over 2, what's the hypotenuse? 5 root 5, correct. So I just have to take that and times it by 2. Okay, do these make sense? A lot of square roots going on here. Okay, so let's stop here.